So we've got the song that we want to mix, and before you even open up your session, the first thing you want to do is think about what you want that song to sound like. And the best way to do that is with a reference track.
Finding references, that's the first thing I do in mix prep. I find some sort of reference that is within the vein of what I'm thinking.
Get some music, 2 or 3 songs that you both know. That is so important. So, when you're working, if you're second guessing yourself, you're just wasting a ton of time and energy, and you just can get off on the wrong track.
Listening to the song, not to copy it, but to use it as a point of inspiration and say like, oh, this reminds me of this. Even if it's like, I don't know, something little like, I don't know, say a guitar solo or something like that. And it's really less to recreate the actual sonics of it as to recreate the feeling that I had when I listened to it.
If there's a pre-existing reference, I'll take that in A/B.
So A/B referencing is basically the process of comparing your reference track to your mix. Your mix is going to be A, your reference track is going to be B. Have both songs queued up, and by switching back and forth, you gain a better sense of where your mix is and how it's coming along.
An example of what the lead vocal should sound like, an example of what the backing vocal should sound like, at least the quality, and even in some cases, the effects processing.
Sometimes I'll use them as inspiration. I'll bring something up that I find exciting or I think maybe is related to what I'm doing, and see if the energy is right or the mid-range is right, or if it has, the same excitement, or if I'm like, I'm not sure what to do with this, and then maybe I listen to something like, well, that stuff is really panned wide, how does that work? But I also find references are really helpful when you're working with clients. Sometimes they can't describe it, but they can play you a track that really tells you what they're thinking.
So like if a client is like, I want it to sound sort of like this, you want to do your take on that, but you need to reference whatever it is, especially if you haven't heard it, you should definitely listen to the song.
The goal here is to find out what they like from the production, not necessarily the music. There's a little bit of mind reading and getting to know the person that goes on there.
As you know your space better and you keep mixing, you can be like, oh, this low end is cool, but it reminds me of like a Bjork record or something. So if you pull that up and listen to how things are interacting in that mix, you can kind of like A/B.
In some regards, it can be upsetting to reference because you hear someone else's work and in your opinion, it's way better than what you'll ever do or what you're capable of in that moment.
It's never going to sound like Kind of Blue for a number of reasons, or it's never going to sound like Led Zeppelin 4.
But I think it's so important because the first thing that it does is inspire me, and it allows me to keep pushing even if I think that it's not possible. It keeps you pushing.
But that is one of the first things I do because I'll never stop chasing the radio. There are so many incredible mixing engineers who are responsible for that music, and that's kind of a way to learn from them and listen very intently, and you start thinking to yourself, how did they do that? And then you go on your path to try to figure it out and you find your own thing.